I want you to know what's coming out of you is bigger than what you know. It's bigger than what you see.
Just when you begin to see the distribution in the middle of all that you're going through, in the middle of your famine, God says that season is up.
God says this is not something you're going to go over. This is not something you're going to get around. This is something you're going to go through.
I will not give in to the fear and the hysteria of the moment. I will root and ground myself in prayer, and I will speak back to the attack.
The Lord says, I am equipping you. I am disciplining you. I am giving you the tools that you need so that you do not miss this promotion.
You've got to have sharp discernment. You've got to have the ability to understand your enemy.
Every man must mortify, must crucify their flesh. And that is what we are doing during this time of convocation, this time of prayer. We are mortifying.
Don't forget to like and share this broadcast with your friends and family on Facebook Live as well as on YouTube. Let all of your friends and family know to subscribe so that you know when the Center of Hope is going live.
You know, I'm thinking very hard about going back to school to do another doctorate. Thinking very hard about it.
I'm thinking about going back to get my GED. Why are you laughing?
Welcome to Real Talk. I'm your co-host on tonight, Bishop Mitchell Taylor. And if it's 9 p.m. and it's Monday night, it's time for Real Talk. Certainly, I'm so glad that you joined us on tonight. As you're coming in the virtual sanctuary, hit that share button and tag as many people as you can and let them know that Real Talk is on the air. I'm excited about our conversation tonight. I'm excited about us coming together for the last Monday night in 2022. That's a very significant time on the Real Talk calendar because 365 days have gone by, 52 Mondays. This will be the 52nd Monday of 2022. And we have been on just about every Monday of this year or of the last 3 years, starting in 2020. So yeah, this has been a long time, but I want to bring my co-host on tonight, Bishop Liston Page II. Bishop.
God bless you, Reverend Taylor, Bishop Taylor, man of God. Bless you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, I was just saying that when I look back over the last 365 days, last 52 weeks, and I look at the last 52 Mondays or so, we have actually been on every Monday for the last couple of years, but just counting this year alone, we have been on almost every Monday night at 9 p.m. doing this show and having this dialogue and this conversation with the Real Talkers.
Unbelievable how time flies when
Unbelievable.
a good time and when you're in the will and in the purpose of God, because I believe Real Talk was something that was birthed by three close friends to bless the people of God and to keep us all together and focus during an unprecedented time. And for us to still be here maintaining this program, it has to be God.
Well, definitely. And before we go right into the heart of it, I want to make a few announcements just leading up, and we'll probably hit it again. You'll probably make a few announcements as well now and at the end of the broadcast, but just to put a few things out for the rest of the week. This is the last week of 2022. Very significant for everyone living because another year has successfully completed. And if we get to December 31st, Jesus tarry and he delay his coming, we would have concluded 2022. But just to lay some foundation just for the Center of Hope, on Wednesday morning, we will have our Wednesday morning word as scheduled, 6 a.m. in the morning. And those of you that don't have the link, they're going to put it up for you so you can see it, take a picture of it, screenshot it, whatever you need to do so that you can be with us on Wednesday morning, 6 a.m. This will be the last Wednesday. Thank you. This will be the last Wednesday for 2022. So let's make this a banner experience on Wednesday morning. And then Bishop Page, on Wednesday night, you have something happening, right?
I have my last School of the Bible for the year. I'm really excited about it. Again, we've been doing it. It's 52 weeks. So this is the 52nd School of the Bible. And then, of course, our Friday night encounter. And then our New Year's Eve celebration, which starts at 9 o'clock. It's in person. And that's leading into 2023. Well, we're not having any in-person worship on 2023, the first Sunday. We're concentrating and putting all of our efforts into our New Year's Eve celebration. And then, of course, we'll be virtual all day, January 1. But I'm ready to kick the year off. I'm really believing God. This is the year to rebuild. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. So I think in all of our endeavors, this is a critical year to make sure that God is infused into everything that we do.
Yeah. And so on Friday, we have a homegoing service for a young man that worked for Urban Upbound for a number of years, became a great friend of mine. Most people know him as David Thorpe. He's also affectionately known as Toby. Some people also know him as Sequan. Some folks know him from the movie Equal Standard. He was my co-star in the movie, along with many others that are more prominent than me and him, but we were in the same scene together. And but he has gone on to be with the Lord, and his service will be at the Center of Hope on Friday. Viewing will begin at 4 p.m., conclude at 6:59. And anyone that would like to have remarks and whatnot, I've been told by the family that there will be remarks time made during the viewing for people that want to have remarks, because there may be a lot of people that want to give remarks on Friday night. And then the service will begin promptly at 7 p.m. and then the repast following at, I believe, the Reese Center. So that's on Friday. Then on Saturday, New Year's Eve, at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. We will be virtual at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. this year. And I'm looking for everyone to meet us this New Year's Eve, because I believe that there's a word from the Lord for the people of God as we begin in the Gregorian calendar. January 1 starts the new year. Of course, we've been already pressing into the new year, and the theme for our movement this year is continuation. And this is the year to continue. And I believe that God's going to give the people of God not only the speed to continue, but the strength to continue and the endurance to continue. And I'm looking forward. I'm excited about it. So we'll be virtual, and then we'll be in person Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. 2 great services on Sunday morning, the first day of the new year. And then we'll repose back to our homes, and we'll begin Prayer Convocation 2023. Prayer Convocation 2023. I think we have a flyer for that starting January 2nd. I will kick off the prayer convocation every morning. I'll be preaching the first week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Each morning we'll begin on Zoom at 6 to 6:29, and then we'll shift over to Facebook and YouTube at 6:30 for our praise and worship and the preached word during the convocation. So listen, this is going to be a tremendous time. You don't want to miss Prayer Convocation 2023. You have some tremendous speakers, Jarrell Solomon, Overseer Robert Nelson, Bishop J. Kevin Harris, Pastor Timothy Figueroa, Bishop Darius Nixon, and concluding with us in person on Monday morning, January 16th, will be yours truly, His Grace Bishop Liston Page II. And so we're looking forward to a tremendous time as we are fortifying that which remains. And I'm excited about 2023, 2024. We're in the middle of the Great Eight. And by 2030, there's some things that we've set in order and set in motion so that by 2030, there are some things that we're, believing God to complete and finalize. And so I'm excited about that, so that we don't have to move into sentimental illusions every time a year goes out and a new year comes in. So I wanted to go over that. So we're grateful for our schedule. Now, also, I want to mention that we're praying for the Reynolds family in the loss of their son, Crystal Reynolds, a member of the Son of Hope, lost her son, Elgin Reynolds, just 40 years of age. 40 years of age. And so we're praying for Crystal and, of course, her sister Carmen and the Lax family in the loss of their loved one. And then also, Bishop, I'm praying for Bishop Darius Pridgeon from Buffalo. The saints
also, not to cut you off, Bishop Darius Pridgeon, good friend of mine from Buffalo. Also, Bishop Roderick Hennings from Buffalo as well. Just 2 tremendous men of God. In fact, Bishop Roger Henning is going to be with me on my last Friday night encounter this coming Friday night. So, but they got a lot going on up there. They really have a lot going on up there. And as we spoke earlier, I didn't know to the depths until you brought it to me. And then I reached out, but they got a lot going on up there. So we need to really be in prayer for that city of Buffalo.
Yeah. And 27 dead just over the last couple of days. And I think for the year, 50 people have died because of weather-related circumstances in Buffalo, New York. And so I know Nassau County sent emergency personnel and vehicles to assist the folks in Buffalo. There's a state of emergency where drivers are asked not to drive unless, it's an emergency or they're going to provide emergency services. And so, so we must pray for the folks in Buffalo, New York on this week. And I understand that they're bracing for another foot of snow as we speak.
That's right.
It may even be happening right now, even as we speak. So our prayers are going out for the folks in Buffalo, New York. So Bishop, 52 weeks have gone by. 360 or so days have actually passed. And I mean, a lot has gone on this last year. And I mean, if you were to, just kind of capsulize a year in review, there's a lot that we could rethread as it relates to where we've been this past year.
I've seen some things over the last 3 years I have never seen in my entire life. For example, give an example. I have been flying on aircraft since 1982, traveling around the country and the world, preaching since 1982 on a national level. And I'm in the airport yesterday, Mitchell Taylor, from 6:15 to 3 a.m. this morning, waiting to get on a flight. Now, you're shaking your head. That has never happened to you or I ever, where I've sat in the airport, not the club, because, when you start going into one of the Sky Miles Club or the United Club, you go there because you're going to be there for a while, just kind of relaxing. But they keep telling you it's delayed 40 minutes, it's delayed 30 minutes, and then you find out it's an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours. You're sitting there in the same spot, and before you know it, you go from gate to gate because they changed these gates. It was 3 a.m. when my flight took off, and I'm not going over. See, now that would be common if I'm at JFK and I'm going over to South Africa, or I'm going over to Israel, or going to Europe, somewhere like that, Rome or Italy. But flying to South Carolina, North Carolina area, that it makes no sense whatsoever. But there was about 3,000 to 4,000 people in just one little small concourse where I was, because flights were delayed because of the bad weather. But here's the deal. There's a shortage of manpower in every single industry. It seems like when the pandemic would have ended, people would have went back to work. But it seems like people have not gone back to work. They're still on edge. They're uncomfortable. And I literally saw a riot break out in the airport where I was, because all these flights were canceled and people were going absolutely insane. So these are things I have never seen in my entire life. Listen, the traffic in New York, where we're at, Mitch, we have bad traffic, but have you noticed the traffic is ridiculous now?
Well, speaking of traffic, going back to your airport experience, you know, and I guess I can understand because you were there since 6 in the morning, right?
No, 6
in the evening.
last night.
Last night. Okay. 6 in the evening. Now, what happens is you keep on getting sucked in that the plane is coming another hour, because it would have been a time where you would have went down to the rent-a-car place,
That's right,
grabbed the car, and just drove to North Carolina. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have been sitting in no Sky Lounge, no matter how plush it is, waiting 6 or 7 hours to get out to go to fly an hour flight.
It's unbelievable. I mean, going across the George Washington Bridge on a Sunday now takes 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable. Now, we know we have bad traffic in the tri-state area, but I think people are not probably using the public transportation systems the way they used to. I think people are driving more now. Things have changed. Times have changed.
Things have changed. And Bishop, this year, the last 12 months, what have you noticed just over the last 12 months of 2022, you know, that have really been striking to you?
Anxiousness. People are on edge.
Anxiousness. So the first thing you said was the lack of human capital, employees, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you said people are anxious. And when you describe that type of anxiety, what can you give me an example of what you mean?
I think people's tolerance levels are extremely low now. I don't think people have the same gravitas for hospitality. I don't see a gratuitousness. I don't see it, people being as congenial and affable. I think their fuses are very short. I know my fuse is very short. You know, anytime I'm on a plane and baby's crying, getting on, I mean, it's irritating. You know, I pay a lot of money for a first class ticket and the baby is crying. You know, stewardess comes to me and says, "Mr. Page, can I get you anything?" "Yeah, a parachute." "I want a parachute." I said, and he next to me, "You want a parachute?" And that over there, "You want a parachute?" We all want parachutes. I mean, patience, you know, giving people the benefit of the doubt. Racial tensions are even higher. Now maybe I'm more sensitive to it now, but it just seems like the last 12 months have been an anxiousness. People are very pragmatic. They're very sensitive. They're one incident away from going off, blowing up. So I think that's what I noticed.
Wow. Yeah. So people are on edge. And it seems like, I guess, when you get to the end of any year, you always have that heightened, you know, anxiety, you know, anticipation or lack thereof that creates, you know, I mean,
fear.
Yeah.
No one wants to get sick. If someone sneezes, if someone coughs, you're looking around like, "Oh my, what's cover your mouth, man. What's the problem?" Those things were not as pronounced as they are now. And to be honest, mortality, that has become more real to me. There are at least 4 or 5 very, very close friends of mine who have transitioned over the last 12 months. So mortality, my birthday is Thursday. I would never think about my birthday. You know how we do our birthday. We create a haven for ourselves and we go away and we celebrate it under the radar. And I don't think about the number or the age. I just think about another year, time to relax, quiet time with myself. But mortality, I'm thinking more about the afterlife. Have I prepared for a transition? Am I prepared for something imminent that may happen to me? Because tomorrow truly is not promised.
It's really not promised. And I was talking about that on Sunday, that, you know, the older you get, you can appreciate the words of my dad, who said, "Why is youth wasted on the young?" We were just talking about that the other day. But why is youth wasted on the young? And I can appreciate it now, because if I was younger and I had more vitality, more energy, more, you know, of what I had when I was younger, I would do and execute on a lot of these ideas that are still busting like fresh bubble ideas in my head. And I wish I could just, you know, put them in a pill form and just pop them into all the young people's mouths that are around me, and then automatically activate them to do it, because we just don't have the strength, you know, even the mental strength to, you know, codify those kinds of nuances. It's our time now to, you know, watch and pray and launch others and support those ideas of others that are emanating today. So I understand what you're saying, and mortality is a real thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah,
when you hit that 60 mark,
man, listen, you when we were coming along, 60, 61 was ancient. Now that we're there, we're saying it's the new 50, it's the new 40.
Listen,
and things physically, you know, I'm great. I thank God every day physically that I feel wonderful and I'm doing great. But the reality is, you know, man, time is going by. It's going by. I mean, that's the reality.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were saying that, oh yeah, he's 75. And I said, 75 is not old. I was saying to the person, I said, 75 is not old. And I had to catch myself. All right. Because I was talking to a young man that was 34, 32 years of age. And I guess for him, I'm old. So when I said 75 is not really old, and I guess, it depends on who's looking at it.
Who's doing the counting,
right?
And who determines what is old and what is advanced. But I will say this, the 60-year-olds, when we were coming along, appeared to be a lot more sober than the age that we are now. When I say that, it seemed like it took longer, or it was older men that occupied certain tiers of leadership and positions. Seems like now that's kind of switched, and it's becoming more of a younger man's vocation in space. What we do, when I was coming along, I could not fathom being Episcopate at 35 or 40. I always saw that being more of an older man's position. But as I look at it, think about it, I'll be a bishop for 20 years. I think next year or the year after that, I've been a bishop. So that means I'm 41, 42, but it has gone by so quickly, you don't realize it. And I became a bishop either after you or before you. I
think you became a bishop in 2004.
Okay. And you became a bishop when
2006.
Okay. So when I do 20, well, how many years is that? From
18
That's right.
for you.
And so, see what I'm saying? 2 years from now, it'll be 20 years.
That's right.
4 years from now, it'll be 20 years for you. That's unfathomable to me, because it seems like just yesterday I was consecrated. That's what it seems like.
Well, you know what it is too, when you say that, because we still, we're still looking for that older statesman in our eyes to be in that position over us. And slowly but surely, we're actually in a lot of cases, we are already
the statesman.
Right. And in some other cases, we are evolving too, and replacing not that you could ever replace, but you can,
fill that role.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you or you can just say, I'm in that role. All right. I'm not sure if I'm filling it, replacing it, but I know I'm in it. And I guess history will determine whether I actually did it any justice or any service.
That's right.
And I think that's another thing that becomes very clear to me. And one of my favorite scriptures is Psalm 39:4. Lord, let me to know my end and the number of my days, that I might know how long I have to live. One thing I didn't want to happen, and I'll keep on saying it, I don't care who gets sick of me saying it, I didn't want to look back 35 years or whatever number that it may be, and people say, well, what did they do? Although that scares me the most. Like, what body of work have you left to enhance the earth? Because we can talk about being salt, and you said it last week, salt and sugar look like the same thing, but we can talk about, being the salt of the earth, the light of the world, and this, that, and the third. But your body of work, the trail of evidence, whether it's negative or positive, is going to be there, so I mean,
and I think about that in light of how the world sees success and how God sees success. And though Jesus lived in a different time, but there's no record that he left with property that he owned. It's no record left that he started any business. There's no record left that he matriculated in the halls of academia, an academician, and that he graduated from University of Jerusalem. We do know they call him rabbi, master teacher. So they respected his intelligentsia, but we don't have on record anything in terms of materialistic success that Jesus can point to and say, that's my legacy. But what he can point to is the people that he poured into and made an impact in their lives. And many times I wonder what will be said about me when I'm gone. Is it what I have accumulated in terms of popularity, some level of financial success? I mean, what is it? Cars, home, whatever that may be. Is it going to be said that I changed lives? Is it going to be said he spent a month with me and my life was changed forever? I sat in his ministry and look at my family. I mean, I think when we start measuring, do we measure based on the rule of thumb that man uses, or do we measure by what God measures us by? Are we all working for him to say, well done, thy good and faithful servant? You were faithful over few, not a lot. You were faithful over few things. Now I'm gonna make you ruler over my. I'm gonna reward you. So I kind of struggle with that, because this is what I find. We will never be able to continue to feed the monster of humanism and find some level of satisfaction. Never, because there's always going to be something more that is required. And many of the flowers that we would like to receive now, we're not going to receive them. Someone else, our grandchildren, are going to receive rewards from us that we worked all our lives to receive. And we won't even be around to enjoy it. Posthumously, we're going to bestow this upon Bishop Mitchell Taylor for all that he has done and all of the string of enterprises that God has blessed him to do. So I don't know per se how to codify that success. I mean, think about Abraham. God says to Abraham, you're going to be a father of many nations, and the world's going to be blessed by you. I mean, that's a powerful prophetic utterance that Abraham never saw. But guess what? We're still talking about Father Abraham, because God promised him land that he never really owned. So I don't know. I'm in the same boat that you are in. I'm just trying to figure out at this season of my life, Lord, what direction do you really want me to go in? What do you want me to really devote my time in as I end the third quarter and start the fourth quarter of my life? And hopefully I got some overtime periods to play. But as we enter into the third, going to because this last quarter and a half has to be meaningful. It has to be consequential. It has to be impactful.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you use the analogy of Jesus and what he left. And do we use that as a measurement of ministry and what we leave? But I'm often reminded that he said that we would do greater things than him. And that's a very broad statement. He's actually kind of referenced works. He characterized it as being works, not possessions, works. And so I think that it's safe to say that we have been positioned.
I'm glad you brought that text. That's an interesting text. And in light of that text, have we ever considered Jesus said, "Greater works will you all do"? But could greater works also fall in line with more extended time? Because Jesus only operated in ministry for 3 years. 3 years. Me and you have operated in ministry for over 30 years. I mean, we should have, by virtue of time, greater works. But I have found out time does not always equate greater. In fact, just looking from a biblical perspective, we remember King Hezekiah is sick unto death. He turns his face to the wall and he asks God for more time. The prophet Isaiah says, "The Lord has heard your cry. He's heard your prayer. He's going to extend your life 15 more years." Well, the only thing we have on history that Hezekiah did of any consequence of any consequence, of any importance, is have another son named Manasseh. But Manasseh was the most wicked king in all of Israel. And he dismantled everything that Hezekiah did in his lifetime.
Right.
So had he died, he would have never had Manasseh. And Manasseh would have never been born. And Manasseh would have never been the most wicked king in the world. So I think time is not always the factor that determines the work. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, they both died. How old were they, Mitch?
39.
39 years old. And we're still talking about their legacies. And it's not, they didn't leave a lot of land. They didn't buy a lot of property. They didn't build senior citizen facilities. They didn't have universities. They didn't have scholarships that they established in their name. They did work, and their work was so impactful and powerful. Other people picked up their work and perpetuated their names. So is it possible the greater works that Jesus is talking about is not necessarily volume of work, but it could be time? And could it also be you all don't waste the time? Don't invest in a lot of stuff because you got a lot of time, because that's not going to really determine the success of your ministry. I think longevity does have its place, but I also believe it will not be the determining factor of success. And based on scripture, hey, a lot of these guys that reign many years, some king reigned 50 plus years. What does he have to show for it? A history of idolatry. I mean, so my point is, time does not always determine the greatness, but it can. And longevity does not always determine the greatness. It can also determine how inept we could have been over a long period of time.
Yeah, two things I'm going to say to that is, number one, while I'm thinking about it, is my dad always said, when you're in a room, people will never know what you don't know if you don't open your mouth. The other thing is, it's not how long you live, it's what you do with your life while you live it.
While you live it.
You know, so you could be, you know, you could live 100 years and make no significant deposit in life.
None.
Or you can live 39 years or 33 years.
And change the world.
And change the world. And change the world.
That's another powerful point. Jesus did not have a mega ministry to change the world. He had 12 men, and it's proven. When it was time for him to transition, he didn't die because he was frail, he was weak, he was sickly. He was crucified. He was murdered. Died in what would have been considered the prime of his life. And if he had such a great following, you would have thought thousands would have thronged Golgotha.
Protested.
I mean, thousands would have thronged the hill in spite of the pressure of the Roman Empire, in spite of Caiaphas and Pontius Pilate, in spite of all of that, those political climates that Jesus was operating in and out of. If he had such a tremendous following, thousands would have thronged the judgment halls. But you know what they said? Give us Barabbas. Crucify him. Give us Barabbas.
Barabbas had more members than Jesus.
And wait, then the 12 he did have were hiding behind closed doors. And I'm not castigating them, and I'm not trying to vilify them, because we don't know how we responded under those conditions as well. But my point is, Jesus didn't die a death being at the height of ministerial popularity. He died being called a blasphemer, a revolutionary, someone that pushes against conventional Orthodox Judaism. That was Jesus's label. And on top of that, he don't know who his daddy is.
He got daddy issues.
He says his daddy is God. He the Son of God. I mean, so there's a lot of things swirling around the personage of Jesus Christ, but yet his name is ringing loud 2,000 years plus later. And it's not because of what he built in terms of monuments. It's how he lived, and it's how he impacted the lives of people. Lord, 2,000 years from now, is that going to be said about us? Are they going to be picking up history books, reading about us? Or are they going to go to, at that time, YouTube Universe? Or whatever it's called, won't be called at that time, YouTube Global, whatever. Are they going to be able to pull it up? Because this is what I really believe. I believe years from now, books, commentaries are going to be written about those that were able to navigate through a pandemic. Papers are going to be written. Classes are going to be taken. Doctoral programs are going to be framed out. Cohorts are going to be put in place that's going to study for 3 years to matriculate to a degree about how you handle something that there's no playbook for. But I think those of us that were actually in it, we have chronicled some level of a template on how to at least maintain, stay encouraged. And that's only based on the media that we have in place that has been recorded, because this is timeless. This is timeless. It's going to be here forever. So I think about that now more than ever. And that's a part, I think that's connected to mortality and what people think about us are what will be left.
So we're potentially talking to people if Jesus tarries in year 2075. They're looking at this archive. They're in some space age library saying, look at those guys. Where are they at? What is that background? Where are they emanating from? Where are they broadcasting from? What is that?
What's that background?
What do they do? Yeah, I mean, and was that the church? Were they? What was happening? What was going on? You're right. So this is all a part of history. We're making history every day that we live. That's a great segue into, as we come to the end of our dialogue tonight, is that every day, every step that we make, every conversation that we have, we are actually making history. And I think that gives me a lot of poise, because we're making history. And what we do, some of us are making trouble. Some of us are making bills. Some of us are, we're making a lot of things that, are counterintuitive to what we thought we would be making at this point in our lives. So there's a lot to think about, just in this past year, God has been good to us. God has really been good to us to give us the ingenuity to navigate these waters, this space, and to come out on the other side, resilient, resolute, reserved, preserved, all of those things, because at some point, talking about trust is one thing, but when trust actually has to be engaged, when you have to push the trust button, say, okay, here we go. It's like getting on that roller coaster and you hear them clicks, click, 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 and then roller coasters take you up to, you're only trusting that whoever put the rails together, whoever was in charge of checking all the safety, points on this ride, because once you get to the top and it takes that drop,
that's right.
You put all your trust in the guy who pulled the bar down.
That's right.
The guy who's in the booth, the people that are the safety checkers, all your trust. And that's what happens with us as believers. We have to, and that's what we had to do during this pandemic. We had to push the trust button and ask God to take us through some turbulent times. So this has been one of those, times and seasons that we'll never forget. If you survive this, you're stronger, you're wiser, you're better.
Yeah.
And we can learn from all of the experiences that we have braved over the last 365 days almost. And so I want to encourage everyone, to get your praise ready for New Year's Eve, whether you're going to be in person with Bishop Page or whether you're going to be online with Bishop Taylor. Get ready, because it'll be a time of solemnity. It'll be a time of sacredness. It'll be a time of praise. It'll be a time of worship. It'll be a time of reflection, and it will also serve as a nexus into what's coming.
Yes.
And I believe what's coming is better than what's been. And so on tonight, the last show of 2022, I want to encourage you on tonight, and I want this to be a clairvoyant call on today. I want 30 of you on tonight to partner with us on tonight with a seed offering of $31. 30 of us on tonight. I want you to partner with us on tonight. The last Monday Real Talk for the year. And I need 30 partners to start now populating the ways to give, whether it's Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. I need you to start hitting those platforms with your $31 seed, and then hit the comment box and put done in the comment box that you've registered your seed. Thank you, Wendy, for your seed of 31. I need 30 people, 29 more people to get your seed of 31. Pastor Hassan Clark, thank you for your seed of 31 on tonight. I need 28 more people to sow that seed on tonight of 31. And I believe God will bless you for being a blessing in this space. This is good ground. This is a good place to sow a seed on tonight. Shirley Shea, all the way from Massachusetts, God bless you on tonight for your seed of 31. 27 more people on tonight. 27 more people. Kathleen Mayton, thank you for your seed of 31 on tonight. 26 more people on tonight. Bishop Liston Page, thank you for your seed on tonight. 25 more people on tonight. I need you to sow your seed of 31 and put in the comment section done on this evening as you sow your seed. This is the last Real Talk seed for 2022. Some of you may have not sown a Real Talk seed in 22. This is your chance to sow a Real Talk seed in 2022 on tonight. Thank you, Barbara Smith Taylor. 24 more people on tonight. Alicia Davis, 23 more people on tonight. I just need 23 more people to sow the seed of 31 on tonight. If Real Talk has blessed you, not only tonight, but last Monday night, the Monday night before that, the Monday night before that, and back and back and back and back. Let this be the time that you show your appreciation as we have sown spiritual things into your life. And now you have an opportunity to sow those carnal seeds into ours so that we can continue to produce and bring this kind of vivid, vivacious, and victorious dialogue on tonight. Elder Davis, thank you for your seed on tonight. Elder Davis, thank you. I just need 22 more people on tonight to sow that seed of 31. 22 more people tonight to sow that seed of 31. I know that there are people that are watching me right now that can and are able to sow much greater than a seed of 31. But I'm asking you just to sow together a seed of 31 on tonight. On Sunday, I asked 20 people to sow a seed of $1,000. And I believe God. And as we were moving and progressing into that service and in that space, and listen, when you ask God for something, believe him, because he can do anything but fail. That's a fact. He can't fail, he can't die, and he definitely can't lie. God will do what he promised on tonight. The ways to give are on the screen on this evening. I just need 22 more people to sow the seed of 31 on tonight. Just 22 more people to sow the seed of 31 on tonight. Well, Bishop, this has been another one of those dialogues that just kind of flowed right into, where we are tonight at 10:04, and you can't make this stuff up. This is choreographed in heaven before the foundation of the world. He knew we would be doing this, as a result of this time that you eloquently described earlier, this pandemic that, gave birth to this electronic message that has launched television shows all across the globe, right? We got new television stations all across the globe. You got Real Talk, you got this, you got that, and so, but to God be the glory, great things he has done. Well, Bishop, any final remarks tonight before we
Proverbs 10 and 22, the blessing, singular, the blessing, not the blessings, the blessing of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow. I think we really need to revisit what is success, what is a blessing, what is important, what God has called us to do, what are we going to leave in the earth. And I think you know, at the end of the day, keeping his commandments, doing all we can to please him, uh, leaving an inheritance to our children's children. That means our grandchildren. I think they are certain things that we as people should be embarking on seeing done and fulfill. The blessing, but the blessing of the Lord maketh rich. The blessing, that means one blessing from the Lord can change your life forever. And it doesn't have to be money. A blessing can be realizing why I am created. What did Mark Twain said? He said the two most important days in anyone's life is the day you were born and the day you find out why. The blessing of the Lord could be just knowing why I'm here and doing all that I can to be faithful to that call, to that assignment, and do it to the best of my ability by maxing out all of my talent, maxing out all of my resources, maxing out all of my cognitive energy, just maxing it out. I mean, leaving nothing on the table. Just pour me out as a drink offering. Let me go to the next life empty and not full. I think that is real success. When I leave empty, when I've taken everything God has given me and invested it towards doing what I have been called by God to do. So the blessing of the Lord maketh rich and add no sorrow. That's what I would leave with. You're muted, Mitch.
That was eloquently said and a powerful statement on tonight. I want to thank Tony for your seed of 31 on tonight. I still need 21 more people to sow on tonight. If you didn't have the seed of 31, get the closest seed that you can. Sow a seed on tonight. Whatever your seed may be, sow your seed on tonight. And like Bishop said, the blessing of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no burden, no sorrow to it. So thank you so much, Real Talkers, for a year of dialogue and deliverance. It has been, to us, we have thoroughly enjoyed bringing you content, bringing you conversation. It has been a tremendous blessing, and we're looking forward to the recharge that we're all experiencing and going to experience over the next 15 or 16 days or so, from New Year's Eve to New Year's Day to the prayer convocation, and just, flowing into January and February. Before you know it, we'll be in spring. And listen, you'll be saying, oh, Lord, it's too hot. Now we're saying it's too cold. And it's been very, very cold. It's been very, very, very cold.
Ungodly.
And yeah, so, but
I won't say ungodly.
Yeah, it has unrealistically cold. It has been very, very cold. Very, very cold. Alacia, thank you. Thank you. Stella, thank you. Yvonne, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your encouragement. Sometimes we get on this platform and, we're wore out from the weekend and what have you. And I don't know anybody that works harder other than James Brown, and he's gone, than Bishop Liston Page II. I mean, Bishop, you are on Monday night. Listen, they don't even know how many things you on. You on Clubhouse, you on the White House, the Clubhouse, the Facebooks, the YouTubes. And I mean, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you don't stop. And we appreciate you. And happy birthday. You got a birthday coming up, the 29th, I think, of December.
Yep.
And happy birthday in advance to you and your sister Wanda.
That's right.
That's right. And so happy birthday to both of you on your special day. All right, Real Talkers, we will see you on the other side.
In the new year. New Year's. No, the second is the first, right? No,
the second is Monday.
Monday, yes.
Yeah, so
2023.
2023. We'll see you on the other side, Monday the 2nd. And we will have a new opener.
Wow.
For the 2nd, yeah, because
right, yeah,
we will have a new opener for 2023. All right, guys, we love you, and we'll see you on next Monday.